Hello everyone, I am Rona and I'm here to tell you a few things before your SBL exam. Your SBL exam is a 4-hour case study which is divided into 80 marks, which is your technical marks. So there would be requirements and you're supposed to answer those requirements, and 20 marks, which is your professional skill marks. So for each requirement, you would have to write the answer in a specific way depending on the professional skill that is asked. When you're writing the answer, please pay attention to the formats that are being asked. Yeah, so if they're asking you for a report or a briefing paper, make sure that you know the formats and write it in that specific format. It is a computer-based exam, so make sure that you are comfortable with the TestReach platform. Practice questions on the platform so that it's not a surprise for you on the exam day. Make sure you know your audience. Yeah, so if they're saying write a report to the board, okay, so you need to know who you're supposed to address in the report, what the tone of your answer is going to be. Yeah, so pay attention to the audience and structure your answer. Use headings wherever possible and keep your answers as paragraphs so that it is easy to differentiate between one point and the next. It just gives a better structure to your answer. So in terms of SBL, the exam focus, time management is extremely important. So I would say spend around 45 minutes to an hour in terms of reading and to an extent planning your answer. Some case studies might be short. You might only need 45 minutes. Some case studies might be long. You might need an hour. Yeah, so accordingly, you can save enough time in order to write your answer. Yeah, so if you're spending 45 minutes to read, that means it gives you 3 hours, 15 minutes to write or type. And if you're spending an hour, that means it gives you 3 hours to type. Yeah, so just keep an eye out on the clock always. Just be aware of how much time has passed by. Yeah. Then what you need to do is when you are reading each requirement, open up your Scratchpad. Let's say there is a question which says analyzes the environment. Try to pick out the keywords from there. So in that question, the keyword is environment. I would take environment, put it onto my Scratchpad. Yeah, why am I doing this? Because whenever I'm reading the exhibits, I have these keywords in front of me, so I know what to look out for. So if I am using the pastel model, if I'm using a model, I don't have to use a model, but when I'm reading the question, I can just put those points into the Scratchpad or highlight it, say which exhibit it relates to. So it's just easier for me when I'm writing out my answer. Application is key for the exam. You would have learned so many knowledge aspects in SBL, but the idea is you need to apply it to the scenario if it is relevant. So read the requirement and think about how can you relate a specific point to the scenario or to the company that is in question. You would have learned so many models, but remember, you don't have to use those models. Just answer the question as practically as possible. Yeah. When you try to fit your answer into a model, it just becomes very confusing. So just answer the question as practically as possible and you will be fine. The best way to do this is just to practice questions, see if you're able to answer these questions or not. If you go onto the TestReach platform, you have the past exams, you have the specimen papers, you also have practice exams. If you do a few of those exams properly, like sit there for 4 hours, do it on your own, write out the entire answer, that should be good enough. Yeah, but just make sure the more you practice, the better you become at answering these questions. You need to understand that every scenario is going to be different. So you just have to think on your feet. Yeah, you just have to understand the requirement, understand the exhibits, and answer the question that is asked. Yeah. One of the issues with SBL is that the content is so wide, so you could be tested from almost anywhere. But don't worry about it. Just read the question, understand the scenario, understand the requirement, and you will be fine. Good luck for your exam. Just remember whatever you did when you practice questions and you are going to be fine.